Hey ladies, it's your host Jennifer D'Amato here on the Health, Life, and More for Women podcast, and it's episode 81. Now, I may or may not have told my husband I'm done talking about my breasts on the podcast, but I have one more thing I want to share. It's my 4 biggest takeaways that I really needed to learn or have reinforced from having breast surgery. Let's just dive right in.
Welcome to the Health, Life, and More for Women podcast with certified life coach, mom of 4, and just all-around lover of all things 80s, your host, Jennifer D'Amato. Buckle in. Let's get started.
So I wanted to take some time post, surgery and really feel like I'm through the majority of my recovery. Before I sat down and shared the biggest takeaways, I feel like I needed that perspective and time. I didn't want to write down the lessons when I was still in pain, which lasted a lot longer than I anticipated, which was one of the lessons. If you want to hear more about the behind the scenes of all of this, episode 60, where I really pulled back the curtain. I shared about what had been going on really for the entire year of 2020. I do have, or I guess I say I had, atypical ductal hyperplasia. So the concern with that, which I go into more detail on episode 60, is it can harbor cancer cells. I am beyond grateful. There really are not good English words I can think of to express my gratitude and joy that they did not find any cancer cells in what they removed. And they removed a lot. I had a total reconstruction of my right side due to how much they removed. I used my own tissue. Like I did anything. My amazing breast surgeon. Shout out to Dr. Ong of the Ong Institute in Scottsdale, Arizona, for being the most amazing human and surgeon and woman and just everything. Her entire office. I did nothing. She reconstructed my entire right side due to how much was removed. And because of that, I didn't want to be a lopsided Lucy. Is that a thing? I just made it up. She had to do my whole entire left side. Very even, very grateful. They have to give you all these warnings beforehand of, this might not look right and you could be lumpy and all of this, so many things. And I didn't care. I just wanted it out. And I thought I knew how to handle everything that was coming after. And the reason I did in my head and thought I could handle what was coming after is I had 4 C-sections. Yep, not 1, not 2, all 4 of my beautiful daughters were born via C-section. And I think there's a podcast episode brewing about this because there's a whole lot of guilt and shame that I'm hearing about having C-sections. And I think I'm going to address this in an entirely different podcast episode. But what I did was say, okay, I've had major surgery. C-sections are major surgery. I'm like, I kind of know what to expect, right? A little bit of downtime, rest a little bit, and then, you slowly get back to normal. Y'all, I was so wrong. I was so wrong on what that was going to look like. And that was part of my problem. Let's just say the first takeaway, number 1 out of 4, was how important your thoughts are. So your thoughts lead to how you feel. This is like life coaching 101. You're just getting a little taste of it. Your thoughts directly lead to how you feel. And those feelings you have directly lead to the actions you take, therefore the results you have. So follow me on this. My thought was, got this. I'll be down for a little bit. No problem. My mom will be here for a couple of days. David will go back to work, and I'll just move on with my life after that. Can you imagine how I felt when that thought was not true? Yeah, it wasn't a good place to be. It was a very, very sad and angry and frustrated and hurt place to be. I started going into that inner critic of what's wrong with you? You should be able to bounce back from this. And then, of course, what led to my actions was me pushing myself, trying to do things I should not have been doing. Your thoughts are so important. Part of that was letting go of this expectation, right? That was the thought. The original thought really was an expectation. I have always struggled with expectations. Always. I don't struggle like I used to. It used to be something that would bury me in my bed, covers over, fetal position, crying my eyes out because I set these expectations and when they were not met, I fell apart. Your thoughts are important because they will lead to how you feel and ultimately the actions you take, the results you have. And when those thoughts are not dealt with, when those thoughts are really expectations, you're going to find yourself right where I was, not in a good place. So what is the takeaway? Is you need to actually take the time to look at your thoughts. And I've talked to clients about this. I've shared this here. Sometimes you need to write those thoughts down. What am I thinking right now? And if I had seen that on paper, I know this stuff. I coach this stuff. I know better. If I had seen this thought on paper, I could have dealt with it and said, that's an expectation. That's based on information that's not necessarily relevant here. And here's where it's going to land you. So what I would have wanted to do was backtrack and how I really wanted to feel, what the actions I could have taken, the results I wanted to have. Ultimately, I needed to be in that result line. I needed to be there. What I wanted to feel was calm and peaceful. I needed to address the thoughts. I needed to look at them. It would have saved me so much pain. I'm grateful my mom was here and one of the thoughts she had that she shared was, you're not the same age as you were when you had that last baby even. And that's just, there is truth to that my body is not the same. It does take a little bit longer. But what I also realized, you use your pectoral muscles for more than you think. It was like the most awakening thing. All right. Not only are your thoughts important, and I feel like I should have prefaced this, that these takeaways are bigger than breast surgery. These takeaways are not limited to what I went through, but I want you to really see where you might need to implement these takeaways, where they in your life might benefit you. So where do you need to start looking at your thoughts? Are you finding yourself really upset based on something you thought because of how you felt after, what you ended up doing or not doing, and the results you had? All right, second takeaway. This was really big for me because I in no way anticipated how much it would affect me. Here it is. You have strong emotions attached to your body, to parts of your body. Some of those emotions are from really good experiences. Some of them are from really bad experiences. I've shared on the podcast about thoughts about my thighs. My emotions attached to my thighs were never good ones. I actually had to do the work on those emotions and those thoughts about my thighs, those thunder thighs, as they were jokingly referred to for most of my childhood. I had to do the work. There's so much emotion attached to our body. What I didn't realize is how much emotion was attached to my breasts. They breastfed 3 out of 4 of my daughters. I had no idea that I had to let go of something, that I had to actually grieve a loss I was feeling because of how much positive emotion. It was totally a positive emotion, but I had to actually address how I was feeling. And it didn't even hit me until the first time we changed my bandages. Whew. Tears flowed everywhere, like so overwhelming. It actually was very similar to that emotion I can remember experiencing post baby. It was so strong. And when I look back now, it is that moment of, we, especially I believe as women, have such emotion attached to our body, emotion attached to parts of our body. Some of them good, some of them like I breastfed these babies, like I was fine with however my breast looked, didn't care, didn't want implants, just wasn't for me. I was just so like in awe of what they had done. I did a lot of work on my midsection, on my stomach, and all the stretch marks, and there's a lot of them because there's good emotion like that area carried 4 healthy babies. And I went through a period of time where I had to work through how that was making me feel to get to the positive place. This was different. This was about mourning and grieving, but it was such a reminder that we have emotion attached to our body. Those emotions need to be addressed. We need to give space for them. What emotions come up for you when you think about different parts of your body? Are they good? Are they bad? Do you need to address them? Part of having positive body image and body confidence isn't that our bodies look a certain way. It's about our thoughts about our body. That's part of the work I do. That's part of the process in intuitive eating coaching with me that we're going to address. We have to. We have to address the thoughts as much as we're addressing the habits and the food rules and honoring our body when it comes to our hunger or when we're feeling full or satisfied. Our thoughts about our body, because of these strong emotions, have to be addressed. This could be that point for you where you're like, that's the thing I've been missing. I'm doing all these other things and I'm feeling okay, but then when it comes to this part of my body and I look at it and I observe it and I see it, all the emotions come up. This might be the moment you say, okay, let's talk to someone more about this. If I'm that gal, if I'm someone that you feel like I could talk to her, she gets me, head into the show notes, book a consultation. Let's talk more about those thoughts. All right, let's move on to my third biggest takeaway. You need to make yourself a priority in big and in small ways. Your health, your life, your schedule, your day, whatever that looks like, you need to be a priority. As I'm recording this, I'm currently coaching a group of moms on intuitive eating principles and on how to raise intuitive eaters. And one of the pillars in our coaching time is you as the priority. So many moms, so many women start taking themselves down and down and down on the list of being a priority. Sometimes so far down on the list, they're off the list. It doesn't need to look like you go on a solo vacation. It doesn't even necessarily need to look like you have a weekly massage or a weekly housekeeper. There might be small ways in which I'm the priority right now. It could be in your morning routine. It could be in your time at the end of the day that's just for you. There's no one around. It could be that car ride home from work and you don't answer the phone. It could be saying, you all don't want this for dinner, but this is what I'm making because this is what I want for dinner. You as the priority in small and in big ways. We cannot neglect this area. It'll bite you right in the bottom. I had to put myself as a priority. It's not that I don't do this, but I needed to acknowledge there are small ways that I have to make myself as a priority in healing. There were some big ways, the things I needed to let go of. That was putting me and my health as a priority. is saying, no, can't do that, not yet, I'm not ready, not giving time and space for this. That was a way to set myself as a priority. All right, my fourth and final takeaway I want to share with you. This one is the most important to me. I saved it for last because best for last. I think they're all important, but this one right here, I need you to hear it. You are the expert on your body. I know I had a team of experts in their field, from the breast surgeon to the plastic surgeon, to the nurses, to the staff, to the anesthesiologist. There was a team of experts. Those that were doing the scans even right before, that couple of hours before surgery, so many experts in their field. They knew what they were looking at. But the reality is, the truth is, the thing I need you to hang on to is you are the expert on your body. I can't tell you how many women I coach that do not believe they are the expert on their own body. This to me is what our culture, diet culture, beauty standards, social media, that's what it's done. Is it has created this idea that someone else knows what's best for your body. That is a complete garbage lie. You are the expert on your body. You may seek out other experts in their field to help you, like I needed to. Obviously, I wasn't going in and, slicing and dicing and putting back together. But I ultimately had to make the decision of what's best for my body. Not everyone with atypical ductal hyperplasia has surgery. There's a lot of factors actually that go into it, your age being one of them, how much you have being another. I had to make the decision that was best for my body. I am the expert on my body. You are the expert on your body. What I hear from women all the time is they have let the diet program, the diet book, the influencer, selling some product or whatever on Instagram be the expert. And it's why they feel so out of touch with their body. It's why intuitive eating seems like this foreign concept when in fact it's actually how you were born. You were born knowing how much your body needed to eat. You were born knowing when you were satisfied with what you ate. You were born with these amazing taste buds that could be opened up to different flavors, and everyone has kind of a unique palate, if you will. You were born moving your body. I know that. I know that because you probably at some point as a kid ran outside, played outside, had toys and trashed your parents' house. My kids all did that. I know I did that. Moved my body in a way that didn't feel like a chore or a have to or a should. You are the expert on your body, but most likely, if you have dieted even once, you've lost touch with that. You don't feel in touch with your body. You feel actually somebody else needs to tell you what to do. I have a lot of women who meet with me and just want me to tell them, this is what you're supposed to do. Follow this. That's not what intuitive eating is. Intuitive eating is getting back to you acknowledging and trusting you are the expert on your body. I am the expert on my body when it comes to how I feed it, when I move it, and my healing. I worked through my thoughts and as an expert on my body had to say, this is taking longer. I need to step back for even longer than I want to. I'm the expert on my body. That did take work and time and it actually took a process. Working through the intuitive eating principles is what got me to the place of absolute security that I am the expert on my body. If you don't feel like you are the expert, or maybe you're like, I can acknowledge I'm the expert, but I don't trust the expert on my body. This is the perfect time to step into intuitive eating. No longer giving space for someone else to tell you what's best for your body, but you acknowledging and trusting that you already know. We just need to uncover it. Head to my website, healthcoachforlife.com. Book a consultation. I'll include everything in the show notes to make it really easy to hop on a call. If you're not in a place where you have dealt with your emotions about your body, you're not feeling confident, if you don't feel like you actually are or can trust you as the expert of your body, let's talk. I hope that one or two or all four of these takeaways spoke to you in some way. It would actually make me feel really good, right? Like I went through this whole thing. I've been very, transparent about talking about my breasts all over the place. And that it helped even one person. That means the world to me. And even more than that, if you feel empowered to take back your health, to become the expert, well, hot dang, I'm here for you, girl. Okay, until we meet again next week, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming episodes of the podcast. And if you are looking for full transcripts of the episodes, click the link in the show notes or head to www.healthcoachforlife.com/blog. Search for your favorite episodes. If you don't see the transcript yet, be sure to email the podcast at healthcoachforlife.com.